Okay, shit, I just had to free up some space. I don't have too much more left. So the reason that the applicant is is for the following. I've known him for 3 years and the nature of our relationship is tenant of second residence and neighbour. I don't understand that at all. That itself could be false statement. I mean, you can read that. I've known your friend for 3 years and the nature of our relationship is tenant of second residence. No, this is actually the first residence I've ever lived with as Rodney Lee as a tenant. So, false statement number one. We could kick him out of court for that, for details of most recent incident. On the details of Sunday 13th of October 2024, Ross Thatcher came onto my property and confronted me at the carport. No, I was actually nowhere near the carport, as the evidence clearly shows. He proceeded to be verbally abusive and then became violent and punched me in my left temple, causing injury and dizziness, bleeding and bruising. Now, okay, so I was not verbally abusive in the first place. I was questioning him very vehemently, obviously about the caravan and whatnot, but I would never consider that in any way was I being verbally abusive. I was just being verbally answer my questions. Just answer my questions. When he started antagonizing me and getting in my face and trying to snatch my camera out of my face, that's when I started being a little bit defensive. So I did not become violent and punched him in his left temple, causing injury and dizziness, bleeding and bruising. What actually happened is he started becoming very coherent and started remembering things that I was already questioning him about. And he was being very, very coherent about it. There was no dizziness about it whatsoever. You can see I've got months of evidence of this guy when he's on my property and I'm questioning him. He always pulls on the same nothing type of thing. He was actually more coherent after having some sense smacked into him. And yes, I did. I guess I did. I don't even recall doing it. All I know is that some sort of force came out of me and, yeah, I smacked him. So I'm guilty as charged. And I'm very, very, what's that word? I can't think of it. I'm very, very sorry for what I did. But I can tell you it come from months and months of me not wanting to do it. And I wish I never did. So, yes, I'm very sorry for that. And I'm guilty. Yep, I accept that. 100%. If only he was just more agreeable. Well, there we go. Okay, so, yep. I plead 100% guilty. Forces came out of me which I could not control after months and months of trying to get to the bottom of just a reasonable agreement of why the fuck would you steal someone's property? Especially when I'm paying you money to live on your land. It's like, just give me a nudge. I'll take it. My property back. Nah. These people just want to steal it. So, Casino Local Court, 13th of November 2024, for failed to court 10. So, reasons for making this application. So, this is from Rodney. The applicant is making an application for apprehended personal violence order for the following reasons. I've known the defendant for 3 years, and the nature of our relationship is tenant of second residence and neighbour. Details of most recent incident. On the afternoon of Sunday 13th of October 2024, Ross Thatcher came onto my property and confronted me in my carport. He proceeded to be verbally abusive and then became violent and punched me on the left temple, causing injury and dizziness, bleeding and bruising. I later attended Casino Hospital for treatment of my injuries. I now feel anxious and fearful for my personal safety. Further information about the relationship. Is there existing commercial relationship between you and the defendant? Yes. Ross Thatcher is a tenant of the property adjacent to you. That was the details, obviously. Do you owe the defendant any money? Well, that's a lie, Rodney, because you were involved with the theft of my caravan, so you do. And I will be going through the civil process. Do you owe any other financial debt to the defendant? You said no, so that's another lie, because you know you do. You know you're involved. You know you were the one in charge of the key to the property. So that's not a good look for you, Rodney. Does the defendant owe you any money? No. Well, that's true, because I don't. I'm a tenant. I've been living here the whole time. Does the defendant owe any other financial debt to you? No. Cool. Has there ever been a court case or legal proceedings involving you and the defendant? No. So, I think we can put that to rest. He's lying. He actually owes me a lot of money because he's been involved in the process of the theft of my property. He thinks in his mind that he's not involved. And yet he was the only one who had the key to that property the whole time. And so, therefore, if he's going to abdicate possession of that key to somebody else, such as Peter Marshall, who is the next on the list, because between him and Peter Marshall, they were the only ones who had the key to that property. Because Alan Bartlett who we have full identity of, Alan Damien Bartlett, 20th of July 1960, who owns that property, says to the police, that he was out of state at the time. He was still being his, outlaw bikey sort of shit in Alice Springs at the time. You can check his name again if you want to check out where he was. Because I'm pretty sure that we have the technology at this time, day and age to find out exactly where that person was at the period of time when they say that somebody, and the police are telling me, it's just somebody, maybe it was the Aboriginals. Good on you, Dean. Lying piece of shit. Sorry, did I say that loud? That somebody stole my caravan when I know for a fact it was hammered into the ground by the star pickets around it. It would take multiple people, multiple days to remove that caravan. And so if these people are going to try and put this shit upon me, I'm not surprised. I would be afraid for my life too.